Hey, you. Thanks for tuning in. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Minaj and Jim. They have joined my Patreon. They are helping support the show so you can enjoy and learn from it. And as part of my private Discord community, we are all helping each other level up our lives. Do you want me to give you a shout out at the beginning of my show? Join my Patreon today. Patreon.com/ComeOnManPod. The link is in the description. And here's the show.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Come On Man. If you haven't done so already, please like, fave, subscribe, hit those notifications. If you are watching on YouTube, please leave a comment after you hit that like button and click that bell. Leave a comment. You know, just drop a thumbs up emoji. I don't care, but the comments help boost us in the algorithms, and so does the likes and all that stuff. So it helps us get in front of more men on YouTube, helps build the channel up better. If you are listening on your favorite audio platform of choice, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes, specifically, because that's sort of where everyone bases the success of a podcast. Give us a 5-star review there and actually take a few minutes to write out why you like the show. It helps boost us in the algorithms there as well. Also, I say it every week now. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/ComeOnManPod. There's 5 tiers available. It helps the show more than more than any other sponsor that I've ever had. Let me just leave it at that. Like having patrons has helped significantly keep the show going. So check that out. All right, this week. A good friend of mine, my 3% brother, Jahan Man Singh, has returned to the podcast. We've been in the 3% Man group for, together for like the last 2 years or so. Might even be going on 3 years. No, 2 years. 2 years is good. Yeah. He was one of my first guests. He's a really smart guy. He's got lots of really great life experience, and his stories are fascinating. He runs 2 different yoga studios, Yoga XL and I think it's called Ella Yoga. We talk about that a little bit in this episode. We talked about it in the last episode as well. And we also talked about all the things that have happened since the last episode, because both of us were still pretty early on in our 3% journeys back then. So we get an update on where he's at now versus where he was at then. So it's a really great conversation. I will bring that to you right after these words. Hey, you, I'm going to make this real quick. I know you hate ads. If you like this show, if you love this podcast, if you think more men should tune in, then you should consider joining my Patreon. You will be supporting the show, and I get to help more men level up their lives. There's now 5 tiers available, starting as low as $5 a month. It's like buying me a beer, and each tier gives you better bonuses. Visit patreon.com/ComeOnManPod to sign up. That's patreon.com/ComeOnManPod. One last time, that's patreon.com/ComeOnManPod. Help me help more men level up and be better with women. All right, returning to the podcast is the founder of Yoga XL and Ella Yoga, my 3% brother, Jahan Man Singh. What's going on, brother? It's been a while.
Hey, Paul, it's a pleasure to be back on your show. Big fan of all the progress and great work that you've done. Again, honored to be here. It's amazing what you've accomplished.
Thanks, man. I'm just now noticing that because I went back and watched our original interview. We both have better cameras now.
Thank you. I'm on the same camera, but I did buy a nice tripod for the phone.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
I
You've upgraded your whole studio, huh?
I've upgraded little by little. I got, better mic, got better camera. It's all just a work in progress. Got a better light over here.
And you
So
said the main word, it's all progress. It's because happiness comes from progress, right?
that's
You
right.
cannot be, you can, before we even continue, the one thing I want to share, man, in this last year and a half since we've spoken, and Benny and I talk about this a lot. You can't find Benny Lickenwater, dating coach, Ghostbusters. You cannot find inner happiness without progress.
Mm-hmm.
Sit on your ass and watch Game of Thrones from beginning to end for a month and see how happy you really feel. Because that escapism is real. It feels great, but you're inside, you're not happy.
Yeah.
But progress is so incredible and so happy. And so like you have progress with your audio video studio, right? So it's the same thing in any avenue that us men decide to take. And one thing I like to reference is one show that had an influence on my life as a kid was Saved by the Bell.
Oh yeah, same here. I used to want to be Zach Morris, man.
Right. Going back, everyone wanted to be Zach. When I was a kid, I wish I was blonde, blue eyes, blonde hair, white, tall kid. But in reality, when you think about it now, Zach wasn't always the strong, resolute one.
No.
There was one guy that he was a captain of the football team. He was the quarterback. He was in his workshop working on his hot rod cars, or he was in the gym. And he was the one that got every single girl on the show. And who was that? Because his name wasn't Screech.
Was it AC Slater?
It was AC Slater, man. He had his he had his passions. He had his things. He didn't go chasing after the girls. They'd have to come to the gym. They'd have to go to his car shop. So I talk about that with my friends. You can't go. It's not in your. Corey Wayne talks about it's not in your nature to go chase. It's because it's in your nature to go hunt. But you can't hunt the girl. You'll spook them. Mm-hmm. You got to go hunt. You got to go hunt your passion and your hobbies.
Yeah. That's an excellent point. Yeah. So
you're a runner, right?
Yeah. Love running.
Yeah. And so that high you get from running, it's self-created, right? Like how much of a bonus is it you feel when you run versus when you don't run?
Well,
how much better is your day, and how much are you as a person?
I like when I'm done running. I like it the best.
the middle part, the middle part sucks.
No, I don't mind the action of running either. But what I have a struggle with is making myself go run, So I have to block off time on my calendar, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to run at this time, and I have to set aside at least an hour. And so all that stuff and just figuring out where in my day that's going to fit is the hard part. But when I actually go out and run, I love it. I'm listening to audiobooks or podcasts or whatever, thinking about business, thinking about, how to promote the podcast, anything else, anything.
It's really interesting that runner's high that you get. Science is now we're finding in psychology that in neuroscience, that there's a neurochemical called endocannabinoids. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard of cannabinoids, but no, what's endocannabinoids?
Right. Okay. So I'm drinking a CBD coffee.
Okay.
Vanilla caramel CBD coffee. Right. So it's an extract of marijuana. What science thought only existed in THC and marijuana plants, cannabinoids, now we're finding that the brain makes something very similar called an endocannabinoid, and it only comes, correct me if I'm wrong, I have to double check, only comes from two places. I think one of them is deep REM sleep, and the other is exercise. So that runner's high, you are secreting more than just endorphins, right? There's more than just a few neurochemicals that we thought were being created, and those endocannabinoids, along with the other hormones that are secreted, are collectively helping us become more calm, resolute, easygoing, very well-tempered, not so perturbed. I can send you some more information on it if people want to research endocannabinoids. I'm doing it Joe Rogan style, and I have Google in front of me in case we came up on something that was interesting. I can send to your into your Facebook Messenger. But here it is. So an endocannabinoid system is a widespread neuromodulatory system that plays important roles in the central nervous system development, synaptic plasticity, and the response to I can't pronounce this word. I'm not going to mess it up. Environmental insults. So it's a biological system that we're barely finding out about, and it is incredible for what it does while exercising, and that's why I'm a big advocate. If you can, it's not always possible to really exercise first thing in the morning.
Oh yeah,
but not everyone can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I could. Let's be honest. Most of us could if we wanted to get our lazy asses up. I am not one of those guys. I am not a morning person. I will run in. I'll run in the morning as long as I don't have a bunch of meetings. But because I'm dealing with people at my day job,
you have kids, right?
I have kids, but it's more that my day job. I'm working with people all over the world, so I have to. A lot of times, I get scheduled early morning meetings so I can deal with people like in India and stuff, and so I have to push.
You're dealing with my cousins over there, huh?
Yeah, that's right. There's some sharp dudes over there. Yeah, so I have to run like in the afternoon, sometimes in the evening. It just varies. I make sure I get it in when I can get it in, though. You know,
exactly. You know, life is fluid, and you can't always. But what I do say is that if you can't exercise in the morning, I definitely recommend people have a midday meditation because you could do a lot in a 5-minute meditation. But for me, it just the molecules here it comes from theconversation.com. It says the molecules that work to maintain balance in the brain body are called homeostasis. So it helps your body reach this level of homeostasis, which is when the cells go to repair. But more on it later on, and I'm not an expert on it. I'm not a doctor yet. But cool, man. I just wanted to touch base on the importance of those endocannabinoids and exercise and having that mission and purpose. And go Team AC Slater, bringing that back to say. By the way, on Saved by the Bell, which was your favorite girl?
Oh, I always liked Kelly Kapowski.
Tiffany Amber Thielen?
Thiessen, yeah.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Okay, Long Beach. She's a Long Beach girl. Yeah. Long Beach in the house.
Jessie was okay there, too.
Yeah,
she was
absolutely beautiful. But
please stand by. We are having technical difficulties.
Please be there.
Yeah, you're
Did
breaking
I
up
for
there.
A second.
Yeah.
So yeah, heads up. I'm in Mexico and I don't have fiber optic internet.
Oh, okay.
There's literally an FM tower on the top of my building.
That's crazy. Yeah. So we were talking about Tiffany Amber Thiessen, and I said I also used to like Jessie, but I always kind of thought she was a little tall, you know. And I don't like tall chicks. So.
Why is that?
I just don't. I'm not that tall myself. I'm only like 5'9", 5'10" on a tall day. You know.
I'm 5'9" on a tall day, man. I'm 5'10" with cowboy boots. But hey, I'll take long legs any day.
What do you? So you're about 5'8". What do you say to guys who sit there and say, "Oh, I have no chance with women because women only like guys that are 6 feet tall and stuff like that."
Send them my way. Let me know their profile. Let me know their names. Because here's the thing, man. I'm a big believer in Dr. Wayne Dyer. And you're going to receive how you believe. Corey Wing talks about this. Tony Robbins talks about this. Your inner core beliefs are going to come out in your micro expressions, the things that you say. Because like when you believe that, when you're around other people, you might make short, self-deprecating jokes. But then they realize it's an insecurity. You don't. So nowadays I like to make jokes about how short I am. You know, there's a girl that I date and she's 5'9", she's 5'10", incredible body. And we watched Game of Thrones together over the course of a few months. And I used to call her a giant, a wildling, because she has beautiful wild hair. Yeah. And she's taller than me. I called her a wildling. I called her my giant. And she would call me her dwarf, you know, little Lannister. She would call me her little midget. And I'm like, you don't complain with my midget tongue, you know. I would just make fun of myself and just own it. it was kind of this is what I would say. If you want to improve, because I cannot help you, Paul cannot help you if you don't want to improve. If you want to stay with chicks shorter than you, that's fine. By the way, I think the science shows that like 97 to 99% of women worldwide end up with men taller than them.
Yeah.
So the scientific data is there. Yes, women want a man to be taller. That is scientifically and socially true. I think I got this from the sociology book too.
But it's just taller though. He does have to be 6 feet tall. She just wants a guy taller than them. And there's plenty of chicks that are like 5 feet tall, you know?
Well, exactly. And so I'm happy you asked me that, because I think I mentioned it in the WhatsApp group that we used to be part of. Rest in peace, Warrior Squad.
Oh yeah, but I actually was never a part of Benny's WhatsApp group. I never got on that.
What?
Yeah, I never got in that group. I never had WhatsApp until I started chatting with Luke, and Luke and I use WhatsApp, but I never got in Benny's group. But yeah, he recently closed it. It's his Ghostbusters group now is you have to pay to get in.
Yeah, and that's an incredible business model for Benny. So much he's provided value for years. So really happy for him, and he did a really noble thing by letting Robert take over and create another group for free. So I thought that was really, really commendable. But coming back to the tall thing. All right, no filter, because you guys deserve no filter. I challenge myself. I've dated, I can't say their names, but I've dated Hollywood actresses related to superstars. So that's why I don't want to say any names.
Sure.
Related to superstars, red carpet women, taller than me. And I used to think about, how can I psych myself out? How can I psych them out? And, you know, I would just take it as a challenge, a personal challenge. I would know that I probably have a Napoleon complex. You know, some of the most accomplished men in the world have a Napoleon complex, i.e., Maverick Pete Mitchell, you know, Tom Cruise. He's not a tall guy. But
he's 5'7". Yeah.
He's barely 5'7". Mm-hmm. Look at the things he's accomplished with his life, right? So when girls joke around with me, or at the right time, at the right place, I'll say, it's not the size of the man in the torso, it's the size of the man in the torso. You know, I'll joke around about it. It's not your fucking torso, it's the man in the torso. Mm-hmm. And I'll literally, I know Corey Wayne says, don't talk methodology. I think that's stupid. I talk methodology all the time, and it's gotten me laid and it's gotten me in bed. I'll just literally say, honey, bullshit. You don't really care how tall a man is. If he has a working, can I say bad words here?
Oh yeah.
If he has a working cock and he doesn't ejaculate in a minute, he's not a 1 minute guy, he knows how to use his tongue. You're here for my energy, my presence, my focus, and my attention. Mm-hmm. You want me to be calm, centered. You want me to be a pillar of strength. And literally, like, mouths will drop, eyes open. You've probably done this, Paul. I've heard some of your success stories and updates.
I actually try not to talk about Fight Club to chicks. Actually, I can't help it with Nurse Chick. I mean, when we first started dating, she found my TikToks, internet stalked me. She listens to the podcast now. Like I can't,
there you go.
I can't hide any of that.
So even though
but
so you still do it. So even though you don't talk about Fight Club. So like the thing is, with the internet, with technology, you know, people are just smarter. You can't bullshit anyone anymore,
right?
You know, and so I rather just use. Why not? I know that in the men's realm, we think women have an emotional operating system. It's true, but it's not just an emotional operating system. Like, there's logic behind there. Like, especially if you've dated girls that are more left brain, like accountants, mm-hmm. right? They're going to have a different type of operating system than someone who is working as a hairstylist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think that's ever been a dispute. I mean, it's like men too. We think rationally first, but we also think emotionally too. A lot of guys are. A lot of guys are a little too in their emotions, and vice versa. You know, they're, like you said, there's nerdy chicks that they're a little too analytical. So
yeah. No, and yeah, exactly. So I mean, obviously, you're not gonna do a lot. You don't want to do a lot of methodology, because like no one wants to know how the magic trick happens. They just want to know that you know magic, or no, the girl doesn't want to know how you know how to dance salsa and bachata. Just that you took lessons, great. Now surprise me on the dance floor, right? It ruins the magic. So yes, I agree. It's a careful line, but sometimes I've gotten ahead. Sometimes I've gotten, I've gotten to the goal, and I have to admit, I'll use it as reverse psychology. But I'm only using it as reverse psychology because there's a tense situation, there is tension, right? And so I'm going to use emotional logic, whatever I can, so that we can feel bonded and connected, especially if we're having an intimate date or something scheduled, and I'll use that logic to call myself out too, Paul.
Yeah.
I'll really use that logic to call myself out too, because I believe that calling yourself out is something that women find very attractive. You call yourself out and say, I got to be better. You deserve better, that you put more in, and just there's some benefits to that. But I do talk about a little bit about methodology. It just depends on the girl. Now, apparently, like with you and Nurse Chick, like you said, like you guys have been together for a while, and I don't know if you guys are exclusive or you're polyamorous or whatnot.
We're exclusive.
You're exclusive. Okay, great, man. So when you're going to share, you're passionate about this. You're not going to be able to hide this from her. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think if you've done 15 to 20 reads and you've dated 150 to 300, I mean, it's up to you. At some point, it's a laboratory, right? You get to experiment the way that you want. So yeah, that's all I can say about that. But we were talking about what were we going with this?
Where were we going with that? We were talking about Saved by the Bell. I don't know.
I feel like I was word vomiting there. Sorry to your audience.
No, that's okay. It actually went on.
You might want to edit. You want to edit a bunch of that out.
No, it's
put a marker.
It's good stuff. Let me ask you. Let's change gears though. So last time we talked, you were living in Texas. Your Instagram says you're in Irvine, but now you're filming this from Mexico. Man, you're all over the place, dude. Did you move or?
So I'm a resident of the state of California.
Okay.
And during COVID, I went back to Texas to help out my parents with family business. Also, my parents are plus 75.
Okay.
So as we know, whether you believe COVID existed or not, it was affecting the elderly, right? It was no joke for the elderly and the obese. So my mom is obese and she has breathing issues. So I was, in my head, I just said, you know what, there's a 50-50 chance. And, and also people that are obese, they don't have the longevity as other people. So I thought, let me go spend some time. California's not going anywhere. But I'm officially the state of California, which I should probably change because the tax implications are much better in Texas than they are in California. Anyways, not getting into that. But so I spend my time in Texas and in Mexico, and I visit California once a year for a surf trip.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Yeah. Cause I was going to say, man, if you're in Irvine, I make it out to San Diego periodically. Like we should go hang out. But
oh, dude, that's one of my favorite places. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I saw you had a video on your Instagram of you were down in La Jolla. Down at the cave there.
At the caves.
Yeah.
Have you kayaked those caves?
Yeah. My the company, my day job, the company I work for, the office used to be right there in La Jolla, and I used to walk down there for lunch breaks and stuff.
Oh, dude, that's heaven. That is heaven on earth.
Yeah.
Can you edit that out? I don't want too many people to go to La Jolla because then it's gonna be super packed.
Oh, it's always super packed anyway. You know what the problem is with La Jolla though? Not to we're going to go off on a tangent here, but I don't know I don't know if it's been changed, but when I worked there, so this was like 10 years ago now at this point, the environmentalists wouldn't let the city power wash the rocks and stuff all around, like the cave there and the beach and stuff like that. So there was,
it stinks like seal shit.
Yeah, there's seal shit. There's seagull shit everywhere, and they're like, oh, you can't power wash this because you're gonna wash it in the ocean. It's like, where do you think the animals are shitting right now? You geniuses. I don't know. Anyway, it would
it's it reeks. It does reek. The cave systems do reek there. The wild animals there. But yeah, you're right. That whole area is a little preserved. There is tiger. It's a tiger shark nursery, actually.
Oh, is there? Okay.
It's known. Yeah, it's known for where tiger shark. Yeah, the whole La Jolla to the caves to where people go surfing. It's a big nursery. We did a couple yoga retreats out there, and just it's one of the most beautiful places. I think it's like one of the closest things to Hawaii, literally and beautifully. It's one of the closest things to Hawaii that I can only imagine. But yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm glad if you're in California, maybe we can make that work. Because I try to go every summer. I'll probably be there August, September.
Okay. Don't think I'm going to make it out this year. Hopefully, actually, try not to make it out, but every once in a while they make me go. So you were supposed to go to Benny's retreat last year in the summertime. And I was really looking forward to meeting you in person, but like, what happened with that? It was like travel delays or?
Right. So went to the first retreat and was going to go to the second retreat, and it was this was a time when thousands of flights were being canceled.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a labor shortage with the airline industry.
Mm.
And I told Benny that I've had some terrible experiences with LAX and Atlanta, where you can go and I'm hearing people lay over for 18 hours. And at that point I just said, Benny, it's kind of like dating, dude. If it's not easy and forthcoming and it requires a big extra effort, do we really have fun on the date?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do we really, so I was just like, this could turn into a huge nightmare, and I'll just see the guys in 6 months to a year when we do another one.
Yeah.
So originally I got to call Benny about that. But yeah, I was going to lead, me and Benny together, we're going to lead a haka circle where we teach you guys like 5 basic moves from the Maori traditions.
Yeah, we ended up not doing haka. They did do yoga though. Benny's Benny's wife led a yoga session. With
Isn't Sabrina awesome?
Oh, she is. Yeah.
Yeah, Sabrina's awesome.
But yeah,
awesome.
we didn't do the haka though. Yeah.
No. Benny and I, we never practiced. And then I gave I remember giving the idea to Benny for the ice tubs, and I saw you guys do that. So
we did do
really,
that.
really excited about that. Yeah, he probably may have thought of that before I even gave him the idea. But yeah, that's something that's really common. You might see like on Wim Hof or other men's retreats and men's circles, because you really have to face the fire of your own mental hell, right? Just to do it. You're going to feel like crap. It's not going to be comfortable. And so I was really excited when I saw you guys do that. You guys did some cool shit with katanas, huh? Chopping up some watermelons.
Yeah, we chopped up watermelons. We did some Brazilian jiu-jitsu. We did some CrossFit. Man, that CrossFit kicked my ass.
I love it.
All that stuff was good. Benny rented a pontoon boat. We went out on Lake Lanier, and he gave us a lecture on getting ready for the date and stuff, getting yourself psyched up for the date. We had a lecture on dating apps and how women view dating apps. So that like whenever I do videos, I talk about how women are seeing messages in preview mode. I got that from Benny's retreat. That was something.
What does that mean? Messages in preview mode?
So when a when a guy sends an opener on a dating app, right? Women typically have hundreds of matches compared to like guys might have a dozen matches, right? If they're lucky.
Right.
And so guys send their openers. Women are looking for ways to filter men out as opposed to trying to find a match for the most part. So they will go to their message preview and you'll see like all your messages in your inbox, kind of like you open up your email and you can see all you can see all the subject lines. Well, they just sort of go through, and if anything catches their eye, then they're like, oh, that one looks interesting. Let me see his pictures. And then they decide if they want to engage with you or not. Right. So you have to sort of capture their attention in the first 7 characters or the first 7 words.
Right.
Is really what we got out of that. But the funny thing is, though, I think Benny in that lecture was trying to tell us why dating apps suck and why you should use social media instead. But what we all got out of it was, we have to be clever in those first. those first few words.
Yeah. Well, Benny's had a lot of success on social media apps and whatnot, but it's pretty amazing. I think I caught that live. I think he had posted that Zoom live, and so I saw you guys, and Sabrina was part of it too, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I call that going into the lab, and it's just really amazing to see it from the other perspective. Right? Yeah. Really, really incredible to see it from their perspective, because you learn so much, because you gain empathy. Empathy is removing what you want and putting yourself in the other person's shoes. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I'm a big believer. Like it, you might have always seen me. One thing I like to post, and whether it's on the Facebook group or the WhatsApp, is forget about 3%, forget about red pill, blue pill, white pill, purple. Be a fucking great person. Mm-hmm. Be an incredible man, right? Are you going to be the type of man that when you die, people are standing at the back of the room, right? There was this story. Let me tell you a true story. I had just gotten started out of college in the insurance industry. I was attracted to it because of residual income. You work one day, you sell an insurance policy, you get paid for the life of the policy. Smart, right? Passive income. So I go talk to many business owners, many business owners that knew my father, because my dad was also a business owner, part of the Chamber of Commerce, part of multiple different organizations, Rotary clubs and whatnot. And I talked to one business owner that didn't always have the best reputation, known for being very conservative, very opinionated guy. I think when Obama won presidency, he paid thousands of dollars to have a full page advertisement talking about Obama. But anyways, this guy had some of the biggest accounts in the insurance industry, business to business. So we're talking a big chunk of change here, and potentially tens of thousands of dollars in insurance commissions. And I guess he noticed that I was nervous. It took me months to get to sit down with him. He walks in the door and we're talking, and I don't know if he noticed I was nervous or whatnot, but he slams his fist on his freaking conference table, and he says, "Look, son, your father opened that door for you. Mm-hmm. It's your job to keep it open."
And no pressure, by the way.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But the moral of the story was, let me add to this. He said, "You got to understand one thing about your dad." At that point, the conversation to my dad, and I said, "Yes, sir. I only want to be respectful and build a long-lasting business relationship built on respect and trust." We went on further. I said, "You have to understand." I said to him something like this, you got to see a side of my dad I never did, because my mom said that my dad was always willing to help every other family except for ours, that he was always too busy for our family, but he was always going and running to help people. He says, "Your mom sees it from a different perspective. Let me tell you what I saw. Your dad, since he came to Laredo, Texas, he planted seeds by helping people. He planted seeds. And now you get the fruit of those seeds and those pots. Now you have the opportunity." He says, "So maybe your mom doesn't see it that perspective." And I was like, holy shit. And my dad is addicted to helping people, addicted to making people feel good, addicted just to be a resource. And I've been blessed to have that opportunity to see the amount of influence that builds. Us as men, we never have control.
Yeah.
You never have control. You have influence. Yeah. The only thing you have control over is your emotions.
That's one thing I was going to bring up, because we talked about this a little bit in the last time you were on, and you were talking about like how to win friends and influence people, and how we only have influence. We don't have power. We don't have real power and stuff. And so I wanted to ask you, have you read the 48 Laws of Power?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I have not.
Oh, you should read that, because
okay.
So I read that this year, and what came to my mind after I was done reading that is Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Because the 48 Laws of Power, a lot of people they don't like it. They think it's a book on manipulation and stuff like that. And it sort of is, right? It's sort of like the narcissist handbook. But if you read it, it's almost like the Sith, right? It's like the dark side of the Force when it comes to getting what you want in life. Whereas Dale Carnegie's is like the Jedi way. It's like
yes, dude.
It's
because yeah, so true, and it's really important that the younger guys, the younger generation, understand this, because with power and manipulation, you can get what you want temporarily, but there'll always be buyer's remorse. And do you want the girl based on manipulation? Do you want that partner based on manipulation or built on a strong foundation? Because when you go to sleep at night, as a man, you have to have a clear conscience. It's the only way you're going to rest. Your confidence comes from a clear conscience. Your confidence comes from knowing that you don't have to lie to anyone. You don't have to cheat. You don't have to manipulate. I was in insurance, and one of the toughest conversations that someone had with me, and it was true. I mean, I almost started to cry, but the person said, I've been in the business for like 7 years, and I wasn't doing well. I wasn't happy anymore in the business because there was just too much time doing corporate stuff and not doing my stuff. And there was some politics going on in the promotion, on the big promotion. And I was basically going to go from like earning $80,000 to $120,000 a year to earning like $300,000 a year with another promotion. And I ruined it by being too vocal and too bold and not understanding. And one guy who had been in the business for 30, 40 years, he was like, look, I'll tell you the truth, and no one wants to tell you. Every time you're pointing the finger at other people, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you. You're not making yourself look good. It's happening the opposite way. And I want to use that to segue, touch base on Carnegie, and then segue how I feel like this can be of utmost value. It's something I'm passionate about. And I see it happen. I see too many of our 3% brothers, our progressing men, make the mistake of way too many times. The story in Dale Carnegie that has stuck with me is the story of Abraham Lincoln. Now, Abraham Lincoln, in a nutshell, was a failure for most of his life. He had failed and failed, public failure left and right. He was just not a successful person until I think he realized that it takes people to be successful. It takes strong social relationships. You have to have social skills, people skills. And so in one letter to himself or in his diary, he says, I'm never going to speak in an absolute. Do you remember that part in Dale Carnegie?
Yeah.
Never speak in absolutes, right? I think, no names need to be mentioned, but I've had a lot of success on Bumble. And someone that's really successful that does a lot of work on the WhatsApp group said, Bumble's a piece of shit. It sucks, yada, yada, yada. Only for a day or two later say, I spoke too soon about it. So the point I'm trying to get to is you never want to speak in absolutes. And I think men do that because when you're young, you think it makes you look cool. Having a strong opinion, but could be at the expense of others, or it makes you feel better than others. Like it makes you feel cool when you're young and you don't know any better, but you can literally say the same thing without using those words. So I've learned in sociology classes that in sociology, we have set norms and expected responses. And so sometimes we want to break away from those responses. So we just say, oh, Bumble's full of shit. The girls contact you first. It's all that women's empowerment app. Fuck that. But the other perspective is like, you mean a woman swipes on me and she has to contact me within 24 hours? It's the equivalent of a woman sending you a drink because it goes against their very nature to reach out to you first. So you have a highly filtered, motivated, highly energized person who wants to contact you.
Yeah.
And so I use that to my benefit. And the thing that I wanted to conclude this with is that, I was once very opinionated and once very, very quick to give my opinion because I thought, oh, I'm going to look smart and cool and having that critique sense of perspective. I'm not trying to hurt anyone, but in most cases, unless you do it very delicately, you come off looking negative. And what was it? Someone the other day on one of the WhatsApp groups started talking smack about obese girls and people on Tinder and stuff like that, just fat girls and stuff like that. And well, as you know, I used to be 315 pounds, and I get it. We're seeing the population of the United States. There's nearly 73% of the U.S. population that's overweight, obese.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, everyone wants love. Number one, everyone wants love. Because you're fat and obese doesn't mean you don't deserve love, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's perfectly fine to be fat and obese. What's not okay is not to do anything about it,
Yeah.
right? But when someone goes out there and judges someone who's fat and obese, I literally told the guy, like, hey, man, we're here to be better.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to be better than if your Tinder or Bumble or Facebook is just pulling up fat girls, fine. Then go meet girls in the gym. Go join. I know Luke spends money on what's that really high-end dating app? Really
Elite Singles or something like that.
Elite Singles, right? Like, you have every right to do that. That's
Mm-hmm.
why high-end nightclubs have high-end entrance fees to filter,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I just think I want to hit one thing, and that's to the younger guys, that when you learn this material and you learn the psychology of seduction, attraction, and relationships, Corey Wayne says this really well, and I'm sure other people say it better. It's just that anything that you say, any kind of judgment, any kind of opinion where other people get hurt. So always ask yourself, can I make a joke? Can I say something? Can I talk about my point of view? And is it at the expense of someone else? Once you learn how to avoid the expense of other people, then you could be a cocky, confident motherfucker that people laugh with, genuinely laugh with. And until you learn to laugh at yourself and laugh at life without the expense of anyone, you'll never have that James Bond sense of humor, sense of cockiness, because it just comes from making fun of yourself. It comes from making fun of life, but at the expense of nobody.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, a girl told me, she was here, and she just told me, oh, you're so cocky. And I said, no, I'm not. Cocky implies that I'm doing it at the expense of someone. I'm just having fun with life. Mm-hmm. Life can be pretty intense and hardcore. What's wrong with making fun of me and making fun of life? She's like, you're right.
Yeah. It's also about like not taking yourself or anything too seriously, you know?
Exactly. And I've seen that you've really matured and gotten that really well. And you really get that from a lot of exposure with women, right? You've spent hours and hours hiking and exercising and hanging out with Nurse Chick. And look at you. I see you much more resolute. I see you're owning your stillness, where a lot of young guys, you know, they're so fidgety. Mm-hmm. And that comes from the vrittis of the mind, from yoga. You know, it comes from the monkey mind. There's just thoughts here, thoughts there. Whereas women just die for us to be still.
Yeah. I think a lot of it too. I've been real fortunate with this podcast to pick the brains of some of the biggest names in the industry, and I've learned so much just having the podcast and being able to talk to some of these people. You know, learned like what being centered really is, because you know Corey talks about, oh, you got to be centered. You got, you know, all the time in the book, but the book doesn't say how. It doesn't really explain what that really means and stuff. And but once you figure it out, and you're like, oh, okay, that's what he means by being a rock, being centered, not letting things get to you and stuff like that. I mean, he sort of says it, but it's almost like it goes by so fast. He doesn't really describe it in detail.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't really describe it. But like, for example, to your point, and we were talking about you running, it's like yesterday, I had like 8, 9 back exercises with a little bit of biceps and shoulders. I think someone was calling me. But I had like 9, 10 back exercises. And halfway through those back exercises, my trainer's talking to me. And I'm just like, I'm so overwhelmed with the amount of energy and exertion required to do a lat pull down, right? Mm-hmm. To do those 4x10, then go to narrow rows, then to go to barbell rows, then go to hammer rows. I'm so drained of not taking a break for 35 minutes straight, other than, 20, 30-second breaks. You're keeping your heart rate up pretty high as if you were running at a steady pace.
Like your circuit training.
I'm circuit training. It's what we call superset or triset or mega set. You put 4 exercises back to back to back.
Yeah.
Then you take a break. Then you go back to 4 exercises. But I'm so drained that my trainer's trying to talk to me, and I look at my trainer and I'm just like, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I did read the Carl Ripken Jr. book. You know, Carl Ripken Jr., one of the best baseball players of all time. His dad was a badass. His dad taught him a lot. I think he used to one of those dads that used to wake him up at 5:30 a.m. every Saturday to go cut the lawn, you know, just to do work. And that's because he recognized that Carl Ripken Jr., he was a deviant, and he had a lot of bad behaviors as a teenager. But Cal Ripken Jr.'s father, senior, realized that he just needed to channel the energy. Right? Whether it's martial arts or jiu-jitsu for like Benny, weightlifting and hitting the gym for me, or running for Paul, surfing for Luke. We need to channel our excess energy. You know, we're emotional beings too. But we have to channel it. We have to focus it. We have to find somewhere we can be an archer and complete single task focus, put it out there.
We have to surfing. I'd say we also have to learn how to control our emotions more too.
Sure. But see, everyone just says control, Paul. And younger guys listening to this between 18 and 28, everyone's going to tell them you got to control your emotions. You got to control your emotions. It's not the first step. The first step is channel your emotions. So what does that mean by channel those emotions? If you're angry and you're upset, that's what I like about Professor Singh. You're angry, upset, or you're thinking about contacting an ex when she wants nothing to do with you, go run 50 push-ups. Go grab bands and start doing bicep curls. Go channel that energy that's going to help you progress towards your grand mission, vision, and goals. When you channel that energy, do you run 5Ks, 10Ks, halves, fulls?
I'm running 10Ks right now because I'm getting ready for a Tough Mudder. By the time this drops, I will have already done Tough Mudder, but Tough Mudder is a 10K obstacle race.
Spartan race type thing?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to ask you to commit to one thing. We're in 2022. By December 31st of 2023, Paul and Jahan have to do a Spartan race.
I don't even know if I'm going to like doing this. I can't. So I'm going to look.
You know how many chicks do Spartan races?
So I did a marathon last year. I did a half marathon last year. I did some ultra mountain races and stuff. And so this year I was like, I'm going to do an obstacle race. And so my hardest part is, I don't know if you can see this, my hands are all fucked up here from doing like monkey bars and monkey rings because I haven't done.
Mine don't look as beautiful as you, but these are the gym marks.
Yeah.
Yours looks sick.
Well, my skin 2 weeks ago completely ripped off because I was doing monkey bars, and I made a TikTok with it, but yeah, so I'm not sure if I like this shit.
Put that shit up, Paul. That's your fucking wings right there, bro. You fucking earn that shit. You fucking earn that shit.
That's right.
I've had like maybe 5-10 girls in my life feel my hands.
Yeah.
And they're like, your hands are softer than mine.
That's
in the
insult.
past.
Yeah.
It is. Thank you. It's an insult. So now when they feel these, in my head, I look at them as like my fucking wings as a fucking kernel. Now I want them to play with that rough skin.
Yeah.
Because now that rough fucking skin matches my gray fucking beard. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. I earned this shit. Yeah.
it's like refinement. You know, it's fucking refinement. And that's another thing I want to segue to, if it's cool with you, is channeling your energy is huge. Remember, AC Slater was always doing curls, always working on the car, and always fucking winning football games. He never chased after the girls. It was always Zach scheming how he's going to get the girl back, how he's going to get her attention, right? But something Zach also did well was he was also a good giver. Like at the end of the day, he would give. He would sacrifice a lot for everyone to be together. But AC would just embodied coolness. AC embodied what a fucking guy should be that's passionate about living in life. So what I like to say is channel your energy, and have a vision and a mission that you want to work to. I want to have a Bollywood type body. I want to have a fucking superhero type body, right? I never thought it was really possible in my body. I never thought I can have 17-inch biceps, right? But working at it consistently helps me. And I realize, well, why do I want this? It's not just hotter girls. It's not just having a girl with a beautiful body, which I believe is just going to be not if, but when, like attracts like. But I also am passionate about free diving. I'm passionate about mountain climbing. I'm passionate about rock climbing, yoga, swimming. So being in the gym, I'm also thinking about those things. But when I talk about channeling, Paul, it's not, for my crazy ass mind, it's not just regular channeling, man. It's not like you can ask Benny about channeling. He would say how much jujitsu is helpful for you. But like for me, lifting weights has become very scientific.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is a splits chart, right? So for example, yesterday was chest pulls, rear laterals, pull downs. It's really just a warm up. But week 1, I have the weight. Week 2, I have the weight. Week 3, the weight. Week 4, and I have that shit color coded. And I force there's this thing in science and education. They say that when you learn something new, you want to hit it twice within 12 hours, right? So if you learn something at school, right? For example, if you were taught a new formula in geometry, or if you were taught something in psychology, you want to scan it one more time before the day ends so that it gets plugged into your subconscious mind, so that literally it's imprinting when you're sleeping. So your background CPU memorizes it and files it and stores it away. What I like to do, for example, today's Wednesday, tomorrow's going to be Thursday, as a mantra to myself and to channel my mind and to not be perturbed easily with the world and to be centered, as I'll look at my Thursday workout. I have band face pull and band row as the starter, barbell rows, and you pull downs. I'll literally, I don't know why it's not here, but I'll grab a sheet of paper and I'll just have those 3 exercises listed, just 3 of them. And after 6 o'clock, maybe 12, 15 hours before I work out, guess what I'm saying to myself? Barbell rows, you pull downs. Barbell rows, you pull downs. Or in your case, 10 fucking K at 10 a.m. 10 fucking K at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just, I'm visualizing myself do it. And the only thing I'd have to, advice that I'd get here for you is, this was a beautiful story I saw on the Instagram little video, was that if you take 2 men, let me pose a question. Paul, if you were in the middle of the Saharan desert, fucking stuck, the world has gone to shit, we're in an apocalyptic world, and your ass has to walk from Morocco due east to Cairo. You have to cross the biggest desert known on the planet. Would you rather go with someone who's a superstar athlete, or would you rather go with someone that walks every single day, 20 miles a day, as part of their daily routine?
Probably the 20-mile-a-day guy.
Right, because they have a process, they have a routine, and that person has fallen in love with the process. So I've literally been in bed and I'm like, God, it's 7:30, it's 8:30. I had a date last night. I fucking drank. I ate quesadillas. I can barely breathe. And I just say to myself, I just tell myself, face the routine. Just start the routine. Just start the coffee. Start the coffee. Just be a man of process. Focus on the process. Forget about anything else. Kind of like just wake up, running shorts, tennis shoes, running shorts, tennis shoes, running shorts, tennis shoes. Get the fuck out the door. Because those first 3 to 5 minutes suck.
Yeah.
Those first 3 to 5 minutes suck. But once you do that, and I think Chris Hemsworth, the Thor guy, mentioned this, you have to give a little bit of energy to get back energy. You know, that's the thing about exercising and movement. By putting in a little bit, you're going to always get back more. Because the body, the amino acids pick up, your cortisol spikes up, so you're ready to start moving. So I would just tell the guys, channel the energy with a routine, because without a routine, you will fail. You'll fail over and over and over again, because human beings, we're fantastic at 2 things, Paul. Do you know what intelligence is? It's pattern recognition. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Can you recognize the pattern? But you know, one thing that human beings are also really good at too?
Procrastinating?
Is false.
Oh.
Well, yes. Yes, we're really good at that.
Yeah.
We're also really good at false pattern recognition.
Mm.
False. And so that's why it's so hard to see your own bullshit, because you're in the frame. How can you see? Kind of hard to see the picture when you're in the frame. That's why having a coach is so important. I know how to do all these exercises on my own. I could do all. I'd rather do it with a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm going to be 25 to 40% more efficient, build lean more muscle mass, lower my fat, hit my goals even closer with a coach, because their focus and attention is just on me. And so I tell the brothers out there, everyone says you got to control your emotions and you got to stay centered and stuff like that. You got to fucking work your ass off at something you love doing, whether it's running, jiu-jitsu, or hitting the gym.
Yeah. Excellent, man. This is, it's funny. This conversation and the last one we did, I basically didn't get any of the questions I wrote down because the conversation just it just flowed naturally, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
But we're at an hour, man.
Well, you're a great listener.
I try to be.
Yeah. Did you want to shoot one? I know you prepared questions, so I feel terrible
it's okay.
about
this
that.
was actually
one thing I can do.
I think the where this conversation went is it would have given more. It gave more value to the audience than the questions I actually had written down. So this was a very great conversation. So no, we're good. A lot of time, and this happens a lot too. I'll write questions down, and my guests will go off on a tangent, and it's perfect. It actually works out better. I wrote down 3 pages worth of questions for Rich Cooper. We literally hit every single question just because he was so short and concise with his answers. So this is perfect. This is actually really perfect.
Yeah. No, that's definitely not me. Yeah, that's definitely not me. There's one other thing that came up that I guess I really, if we have some more time, I'd like.
Yeah,
we
got a few minutes. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned, us men have to control our emotions and whatnot. I'm a big believer in Buddhism.
Mm.
And believe it or not, I use Buddhism in dating because it's all about going into your own mind. And the Buddha himself says, we never change who we are. You'll never change who you just gain a level of awareness. You just rise above who you used to be. You see yourself and you say, I love you, but I've moved past that stage of my life.
Mm.
And so, a lot of guys will talk about not being an emotional man and controlling your emotions. Paul, I might be the only one on your show to say this. I have no control of my emotions. Sometimes I could be a fucking bitch around women.
Mm.
If they're late, if they show up with no wine, I can get perturbed, angry, bitchy, bratty. I've been entitled. But what I will do is say, you know what? Hey, I'm a little bit angry right now, and I don't want to say something I regret. I'm going to go for a walk and cool down.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I have a storm brewing in my head, and I just need to be alone. I'm going to go get some shit done in the other room. I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go into my wood shop. I'm going to go take care of my thoughts. I'm going to go meditate. Oh, can you please excuse me for a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that half the men in the men's group are never going to be calm, controlled, centered men. It's bullshit. It's a fucking myth, dude. It's a fucking myth.
Yeah.
Because champions of their crafts with cameras on them are not calm, centered, resolute men. Let me give you case in point. Tom Brady, best football player to play the game, that position of the game, he's not calm and resolute. How many Microsoft Surface tablets have we seen him broke? How many times has he thrown his helmet?
Yeah.
Right? That's passion. He's just channeling his energy into something at no cost to anyone else other than children watching.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Coach Greg Popovich, one of the best basketball coaches. He took a small team like the San Antonio Spurs to become a multiple dynasty, and now his protege, Steve Kerr, is winning multiple championships. Didn't have his emotions controlled. Phil Jackson did. But Phil Jackson also had Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the last thing I just want to hit on is not all the men here you will fail. You will fail if you try to control your emotions. You will fail by trying to fight the perturbed centered man. Not all of us are. We have emotions, and these guys tend to be orators, speakers, artists, creators. You know, your day job, I think you're in you're in some kind of to do with computers, right? You have a left side brain, mathematical. So that keeps you channeled and focused. But other guys that are artists and creators and have this, you know, they're more on the left side, artistic side. We're just not going to be that calm centered guy. You just have to realize that. And there's nothing wrong with turning to someone and say, hey, I just need a few minutes alone.
Well, see, I was going to say, if you can at least articulate that to someone and not just like lose all your shit at them, that makes all the difference in the world. Like you can't turn off your emotions.
Exactly. Yeah. Just learning how to step out of the room, learning how to just say, hey, you just need to process things, or literally just say, like my dad would tell me, son, tell the girls you gotta go to the fucking bathroom. Never scream at the girl to her face, go to the bathroom and do it. Mm-hmm. And so that just means in psychology, removing yourself from the situation. Or literally, like I turn to people that I care for and women that I'm dating, I'm saying, I care for you. You're deep in my heart. Let's not argue. Let's just enjoy quiet for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and that has helped me a lot because I am not that calm centered man, especially not most of the day. I have chronophobia and I get anxiety, even though I do yoga and meditation, drink my fucking matcha and green tea. But now I'm just more aware of that. And with that came from years of therapy. I happen to have a wonderful therapist that I love to visit with. And if there's anyone else out there that could relate to any of the things that I've discussed and shared, one of the best things you can do in life is get therapy. If other things haven't worked for you. I'm not saying it's the only way. I'm saying it's worked for Jahan. I've been doing therapy since I was a kid. I thought when I found out there were school counselors, I would always go spend time with them. I did so in college, and now I do so today. And I just look at therapy as get better at life. Mm-hmm. You literally to go to a session and the whole 1 hour is just about you. You don't have to ask them about their day. You don't have to ask them about their projects and about how their emotions are doing. It's 1 hour so you can get better at what you want to get better at in life. Yeah. Hey, can you help me process this situation? I don't know what to say. For example, one of my girlfriends, she completely stopped working out. She used to have these tight quads, beautiful hamstrings, and a little 4-pack. She basically stopped working out for 6 months. I brought that shit up in therapy because tolerance leads to resentment, like David Data says, right?
Yeah.
Tolerance leads to resentment. And I noticed that every time we get into an argument, I'd like want to call her lazy and fat, but I wasn't going to do it. But that volcano was rising, so I brought it up in therapy.
Yeah. What did the therapist? I was going to say, what did the therapist say to do for a situation like that?
Perfect. So the therapist said, well, all you can do is just offer to be there for the person. Say, hey, whenever you want to go for a walk, whenever you want to exercise, I'll go with you. You invited me to Pilates. Let's go to Pilates. And all you can do is just offer your help and assistance lightly and let them know it's completely in their hands. And so all I did was I told this girl, I said, hey, we're going to go to yoga on Monday. And she said, perfect. And then I said yesterday afternoon, let's do yoga again Wednesday. And we picked it. We went for a 2-hour class today right on the beach. And dude, she was on cloud 9. Mm-hmm. Literally her words were, that's my type of yoga class. I love that instructor. It's the perfect class. I felt so good in my body. I loved it. And she was all, you know how they get high pitched and shit. Mm-hmm. I loved it. You know, you just know that they're teeming with endocannabinoids. And I was like, hey, you know what? I'm fucking craving Indian food. Are you down? We went for Indian food. Yeah. So that was the last thing I wanted to mention is to the audience and everything. Don't be afraid to get therapy. It's fucking 1 hour of you getting better at life. Mm-hmm. It's the equivalent of you reading some of the best books out there. And processing that, learning how to process your emotions and have a respectable response. Because even some of the champions in the world, they're not emotionally centered. And having that expectation that you always have to be emotionally centered, doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, does not. That's why a lot of guys check out. A lot of guys don't talk, and women get frustrated because it's better he doesn't talk. Because if he talks, he's gonna fucking say shit he's gonna regret. Because once you say it, once you put that nail in a picket fence, it's always gonna be scarred.
Yeah.
We have to be careful with what we say. So I just wanted to say that, Paul, and I want to thank you again for letting me get those last few nuggets out. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be on the show. I'm a huge fan of all the work that you've done and the amount of contribution that you put in to our Facebook group and to the guys here. You're fucking awesome, dude.
Thanks, man. Hey, yeah, this conversation's been really great. Where can people find you online, Jahan?
Yeah, people can find me on my Instagram. It's just yoga, the word yoga, XL, YOGA XL. My other Instagram account is Ella Yoga, ELLA Yoga, or on my website, yogaxl.net. We help people live healthier lives with yoga, science, and support. Our goal is to teach people mindful weight loss so they can feel healthy in their body and take control over their health. It's been a pleasure, Paul. Love being on the show. Let me know how I can ever help out and contribute to your audience, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Have a good day, okay?
All right, brother.
Jahan, thanks again for coming back, man. I really appreciate it. It's great talking to you as always. One thing I was thinking about while recording the intro and the outro for this is since we recorded our episode, we had that back and forth on the 3% Man page about getting advice about women from women. And I know like you're very adamant about it being okay to get advice about women from women. And I think that's just something that we're going to agree to disagree on, man, until the end of time. It's just, to me, I found it just it's just not a good idea to do that. But hey, man, I respect your beliefs there. And, good luck with that. All right, man. I love you. All right, guys. Again, just want to give a quick mention to the patreon.com/comeonmanpod. Please check it out. It's there's a link in the description. Also, you could just browse to it, patreon.com/comeonmanpod. Help support the show. There's 5 tiers available. So each tier gives you better benefits. Definitely check it out. It's not just I benefit from it. I think the best thing is probably the tier 3, which is access to the Discord community, because that'll give you basically unfettered text access to me and as well as anybody else that's in the Discord group. So check it out, patreon.com/comeonmanpod. Other than that, that's all I have for this week, guys. I hope you like this episode, and we'll catch you next week on Monday.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. New full episodes served hot every Monday morning on your favorite podcast platform of choice. So subscribe now. Follow Paul on social media. The links are in the description. Now, go out and get it.